everyone. 2023 is just around the corner. And with us ready to welcome this new upcoming year, we will now present to you some significant events that took place in 2022. And who knows, there may be a lesson or two to be learned from them.
On February 24th, Russia launched a military operation against Ukraine, saying the country's proximity to the West and NATO was a threat to its security. But the Ukrainians fought back and a war soon broke out. The conflict may bring David and Goliath's battle to mind. In both manpower and arms, Ukraine is outmatched. But unlike the previous war in 2014, this time they have a better fighting chance thanks to Western aid, which includes various weaponries. 10 months later, the conflict continued to rage on with no end in sight and casualties on both sides. And repercussions from the war were soon felt across the globe. The resulting food and energy crisis drove up prices everywhere, with the United Kingdom among the worst affected within Europe. Indonesia remains consistent in siding with neither Russia nor Ukraine. Last June, President Joko Widodo met with both conflicted leaders. President Jokowi conveyed Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky complaints to Russian President Vladimir Putin regarding 77 million tons of wheat that could not be exported. Putin later ensured that the wheat export activities remain safe.
Isu perdamaian dan kemanusiaan selalu menjadi prioritas politik luar negeri Indonesia.
All right, I made it all the way back to 2022. I'd like to say hello. To recap this year, I figure what better person to do it with than the Governor of the National Resilience Institute, Mas Andi Widjajanto. Thank you for having me by, Mas Andi.
Thank you for having me.
And when we talk about one of the stories that has been so spotlighted so much this year is the conflict in Ukraine between Russia. What do you think are some of the worser consequences that we could be facing next year and beyond?
We at National Resilience Institute already conducted several research on how the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict will impact our economy, will impact our politics. If I could give a very simplistic scoring, then in terms of global politics, the impact of this conflict to Indonesia is -2 from possible -5.
Okay.
So
somewhere in the middle.
Negative, negative, but somewhere in the middle, not positive. For our national economy is still +1, due to our economic resilience. So the government worked very, very hard to secure our economic resilience. And I think for next year, we can hope that this kind of effort will be continued by Jokowi. Although there is a prediction, for example, that most of the European countries especially will undergo a kind of economic recession, but Indonesia economy is forecasting to be still positive. We might have another 4 until 5% economic growth next year.
Do you think then the impact isn't as heavy towards Indonesia as opposed to other nations due to the fact that perhaps our trading relationship between these two nations are not as big as some of the other Asian or Southeast Asian countries?
We cannot use that kind of perspective anymore because the conflict really have a negative consequence on the global supply chain. We have a very, very limited trade relation with Ukraine, very, very limited trade relation with Russia, but the impact of the disruption of energy supply from Russia to Western Europe suddenly impact all countries, including Indonesia. The problem right now is we have a kind of disconnectivity because of disruption of global supply chain. And it is very, very hard to normalize the global supply chain. Yeah, for example, for semiconductor, the conflict between U.S. and China for semiconductor occurred in 2019, maybe
Right.
before 2018. But until now, we still do not see the normalcy of semiconductor supply chain. Yeah, we estimate that the supply chain of semiconductor will be normal again by 2027, 2028. So it is very hard to fix the supply chain when it is disrupted, especially by struggle between the big power in the world.
And I assume this estimate is just going to continue to grow as long as this conflict keeps happening as well.
Indeed,
Obviously.
yeah.
Can this be used as some sort of, along with the G20 momentum, as Indonesia to be some sort of mediator or communicator between the two nations to help speed things up?
We realize that Indonesia alone will not be strong enough
Right.
to play the role of facilitator, of mediator of this kind of continue escalated conflict. Yeah, I think the biggest problem for this Russia and Ukraine conflict is the character of the conflict. Yeah. The first character is a proxy war. It is not only Russia and Ukraine, but also Russia and US, Russia and NATO, for example. This is proxy war between the biggest power in the world. The second one, this conflict also related with strategic commodity supply chain, especially oil, gas, and also food, food commodity.
Right.
And the third one, the most difficult one for me is, once again, this is a very, very personalized conflict. We have a very strong animosity between Putin, Zelensky, Putin, and Biden. When a conflict becomes this kind heated personality between leaders, it will be very, very hard to settle. We have to foresee that this conflict will be a protracted conflict. We are going to see a long stalemate between Russia and Ukraine.
Indeed. Well, the grain continues to fall here. We are going to take another short break, but don't go anywhere. We have more 2022 in 30 minutes with Mas Andi Widjajanto. We're going to talk more about other regions from around the world when we return. Stay with us.